Hello, YouTube. There are some child offenders. They got brought up to me by other natures of crime, like tied untimely deaths, one on the campus of Trinity College. That is tied to people from New York, a whole bunch of women who were young students with the name Alicia that I don't know at all. But that's tied to like some kind of Justice Department, interstate cliques with on off campus CCSU, private police, their extended family members through generations, sequence shift crime roles, identity theft crime roles, crimes with evidence, offensive evidence reception crimes, which no color is about. And so that the same people criminally involved with Trinity College that are criminally involved with the end of the Berlin Turnpike, or for the heart of Hartford, with we'll examine it. But what I'm trying to say, there are more inherent active and progressive child offenders with the principal sex offenders campus, and they didn't let me tell them this. And there was acting where there were confessions to me, others. They attached, these are predicate acts cliques, because these are drug cliques with the various natures of courts and their family members criminally involved through time. I only know this because of complete strangers who were influenced to seek me out sequentially and confess and demonstrate these things. You know, and then as adults, now for the roles, crimes with the same campuses, with the same crime methods to this issue kids. There's also a deposition where police forms and stuff like that. Oh, I didn't realize that was proven. And they're pretending they don't relate to those. The same people are recorded with inter-branch private tied to them, mixed foreign, and mixed overt criminal enterprises in our little areas. Really, what's causing so many shootings still, per other natures of gun crimes associated with them. Dealing with each age of fact-cheating nature as fakes. Too early, they're starting people to lie, and with drugs, and they're using that for tricks with that, where they lock groups of each age into traps, polarities, pretending to be against whatever but they're using the drug dealers to lie about people that don't even have anything to do with them, especially if they make exceptions. I had nothing to do with Two Rod Highway and with Hangdog Lane. And I never knew Maria Fazzino from Weathersfield Pizza the entire time she was in high school. I'd seen who Steven Stocco was. That's also military and other police forms associated with church places. And these are military, foreign and domestic, with Kuwaiti military, and shared policing of like training of private policing of campuses like hospitals and like prisons, because CCSU has criminal justice. Middlesex Community College also has criminal justice. Now, these are people also interceding through time database crimes with each of the campuses I went to. Also has crime acts. They had Eric Jensen lived on a Dearborn Street in Newington, but he was put in a classroom with me. I barely saw him ever outside of class. And I met him right before that through the Cololo family, who has a Phil Cololo, that cousin that stole my identity behind my back, with two Mendez police still through time, lying to my family, others, lying to my mother didn't want to do business, and she pushed him more, and refused to do business with Phil Cololo because he was being rude about midgets, which is rude. and I guess it's illegal too for agent. So these are house. These are house also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, criminally involved with the police chief's immediate and extended family, his daughter, and then his her extended family in her past, other families associated with them criminally, like a Harris family, a former boyfriend who has facilitated the crimes with a Quinnipiac, Yale, FBI. These are FBI clicks involved with federal criminal co-defendants, a former director of the FBI, which also shows was also tied to a proven sequence shift that was inside the Trade Center attack context, Ninth Circuit, Manhattan. The same interstate, Claudia Scalora and other Scaloras and other people with that name, I don't know, recorded confessed crimes on off intercampuses through time, intercity, identity theft clicks, pretending they know people. And others, I don't even know what they look like. I mean, I know what they look like from online and stuff. I found out online. Joshua Julian also recorded confessed with Inter-branch police, overt criminal enterprises, crimes with kids in grammar school, also confessed and recorded through time, criminally abused by what unfolds with all that tied to a Lena's Pizza and some tiki bar on Park Street and places next to Trinity College. And that's also her new husband. I mean, she can probably hate me now. I don't know these people. They were told to pretend other like what is it, pseudo rather, play a game because they know tied to the English the educational department. Johnny Duke, Johnny Galucci, his relative. Now so people who have like various boyfriends and stuff like that, and they were used like that for what they used. So we have also Tiger Cubs and the Cub Scouts used criminally by a Dillon family, recorded and confessed with other retired and standing police forms criminally involved with the area. With them still online with Jerry Miller with wire crimes and pretending I was growing pot on the porch and that they filmed it. Also has people criminally involved with. He confessed crimes with a Kerr family. That New Britain Superior Court also recorded and confessed crime acts and cases with the Kerr family and with child sex offenders and with medical offenders and with identity theft clicks and with sequence shift clicks. I didn't know who that person was the entire time I was in grammar school. And then in middle school, I barely know that person. And then I never had a class with him. I don't even know if he went to my middle school. And see, they were directed to pretend other because they're associated with Inter-branch and whatever, associated with Wells Road, criminally involved with that Samuel Dick's house, that those hills originally still left criminally foreign influence with people involved also with a house at the corner of Church Street and Weathersfield Main Street with men associated with Gilmore, but she switched her names because apparently per Comey or per I forgot his name, a Cohen, English chairperson, a creepy guy, recorded involved with crime acts, with sex crime acts on Facebook, rape threats, then not letting that reported. Other crime acts attaching me to fake conversations with Officer Magnanos and with other officers that forged and switched names, and then that with that, and then Detective Samuto lied with judges, even a black female judge because these are also KKK themed and Puerto Rican flag themed identity theft clicks, crime act clicks. See, these are on and off campuses, plainclothes police, like with Sammy or and or tied to them criminally, and inter-branch families and their family members, like the family member of Joseph Lieberman, associated with the Town Line Drive and the mobiles criminally involved. Per Eric Jensen, again, who didn't go to my town where he lived, but he went to where they put in my class. Also, other ways that location had already been used criminally by by people associated with the cousin of my neighbor involved with the identity thefts and with the crime acts as victims, but as victim predators, overt predators too, though. But for other influences, because the branches are criminally foreign influence with the same criminal enterprises, with the same crime methods, forging names, switching names, attach people to fake conversations, and then pretending that we're making grandiose allegations as a means to pretend they had a conversation with us. So now I'm online, I'm saying things that are completely 100% true and not exploiting any exceptions, but they'll have people online that you don't even know go, take your meds and things like that. Because we have misprision criminality that has been criminal with areas tied to life aggressions, their extortion with Hartford Hospital, with things that have nothing to do with healthcare. You know, they're wasting potentials and money with degenerates when where we need that for real healthcare. They also have wire crime methods and mail crime methods reliant upon what is recorded effectively maintaining various natures of courts criminally involved and then hiding it and reliant upon misprision criminality. Not a lawyer, not a police form, not a criminal. Misprision criminality groups of fake sides of correlation nature, which is a trinity, and fake middle. And again, recorded physical delusions, originally instilled with psychology, criminally foreign influenced. Russians against Russians, agencies, interbranch, Americans against Americans. The Justice Department has recorded a bridge constitution, breaching screen, fake patriotism, where that is not the truth, that exception is being exploited too many ways. Blind sacrifice to what? Fake care sanctions, sick justice, war, fake sides. What to do is to enable the species volume. Also, by the way, they make you misspeak because they hurt you if you try to defend yourself. They're forcing that they control the aggression. So I don't mean anything to be mean when I say that we can't even say words because we don't have free speech. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the identity theft free speech. I'm talking about this too because then you can't explain about it. Then you have to let sick people control aggression. Sick women typing that already typed and keep typing fake things in the databases, identity theft crime act. They write disgusting things. They're with a fake passion crime, making it look like you know how if a guy doesn't want to break up with a girl, and or you know what happens because they're using police equipment and they're using mental diagnosis criminally, forging names of doctors, faking conversations, mail crimes, pretending I had conversations about police equipment, pretending I had conversations about the CIA, and the people online who were doing it weren't repeating what I said because I knew they would say that if I responded right away. So I waited and I watched and learned from who was responding because I didn't know these people growing up. And where that is exception is exploited, all tied to people criminally involved with the body dumping of Billy Grasso with this Dillon family and the Fianza family. I never had anything to do with. The only context I know of them in recorded threatening. This is person, him and his cousin. I could beat them up both. I'm not even a big person. They're like they use little creepy people that look like child offenders with the men and women that are involved with it, including police. Also, a Carla Greco recorded and confessed involved with drug cliques and child sex offender cliques criminally involved, further with Highcrest School with other campuses. Also, men and women, doctors and judges and their family members in overt criminal enterprises and sick programs and uses of even religions and stuff, further with the middle school and with the town offices. And that is other mixed natures of election crimes. Also recorded bonded methods of lying and getting away with it and not valuing that. Bonded natures of crimes originally still. And see that that's important how they're bonded because that's why they're valuing child abuse as women inter-branch. Because then they can affect reactions with types of investigators that are defending how already having been in like precedence is sick because they're defending types of experts being used to further the same things because this is bonding a whole bunch of people to roles recorded consciously methodically, the method even recorded bonding people to needs to color or lie progressions. 3 or 4 different police used the name McGee, criminally involved. And then again, then when this is confessed to me and my family, then they pretend other. They stole my identity, that they didn't communicate with all fake sides of news, fake middle, in the fake news crime acts of juxtaposed natures of crime acts. They won't fix that. They're with wire crime acts too, then more mail crime acts, criminal uses of lawyers involved with the various natures of courts that are preventing mandated law by forging and switching names and pretend I'm not trying to tell on them first in sequence, which is important because both sides are criminally foreign influence. The branches and these cliques with the overt criminal enterprises with the area. I could walk through Hartford in the neighboring suburbs before the daylight goes away. There are more shootings. There are only about 300 something streets. There are more shootings in Hartford reported, more crime acts than there are streets because they're more hurt, formal, sicker than most killers we have as natures of courts originally and still. How this was motivated and them kept as victim predators is what forgiveness is about. So we'll examine how the sequence nature of the Quran and of the Old Testament written in English, how they're not valued here or there. And because each modern nation is together, the entire species volume is an identity of negative value nature progression, defending that. Because we're in an ulterior from actual value nature systems as ones that are ulterior from the one that is attached to why we are factory nature and how that is valued. So they have the clubs downtown mixed with them with crimes of Russians and on and off CCSU and Trinity College. They have a Charlie Bowes and a woman who says she's his sister, implied that she pretending I knew her when she was growing up. And I remember her being mentioned by a Ray Clow growing up. That was one of the people that a whole bunch of people tied to him and his family, pretending they know me. Bob Chase recorded and confessed. It has rules crimes because he didn't let me see a police report. This Phil Clow is also involved with the rest with them with crimes with a principal sex offender they forced. I don't know what they're saying lies in the background. This is also recorded confessed crimes with the Dillon family, with the new and past neighbors involved with this. They're starting fights with child sex crime acts, message and posted rape threats that hid from Weathersfield parents. They hid confessions made to me about um, a Mike Levine, many others associated with Stop and Shops, associated with the further child sex offenders, associated further with the mother of one, a Smith woman, associated with town offices, and that one demonstrated, confessed, and recorded. I've never had a conversation. I tried to defend myself from. I mean, I didn't try to. I just avoided a fight. This young kid. I don't know how old he is, but he's associated. I don't know if he's a police form or what, because they have that private undercover as a fact cheating nature trick. Because they're not letting mandated law. They're identity thefts. They're stealing my free speech, not letting me work, extorting me. Criminal uses of Sammy Vega, of his mother, of DCF associated with them with that, and with prison cliques and sexual circles associated criminally with a Gary Sasso and with the Walters family. And with various natures of police, male and female, intercity through time, their campuses criminally involved. I said the only place a stranger, the only place I went in the car, I told you, I got tricked into when I was a kid going to CCSU with Chris Walters to pick, and then he picked up a girl, was a hooker, and he was in the backseat of my car with her, and I dropped her off in Hartford. And the reason they did that was specifically to associate with degenerate things. Because these are people consciously behind the background spreading rumors about people to keep degenerates inter-branch only let realized, to keep criminally foreign influence only let realized, inter-branch, inter-campuses, inter-military. You think they care? The, the guy. Do you think they're being honest when if you go into if those military people go in there to talk about they have mental problems or whatever? Do you think those people are going to be honest about what they say? No, those are those are in collusion with criminally foreign influence states and areas originally. Still, what do you think the overt criminal enterprise is for? Money? Yeah, because they're juxtaposing originally still whole bunch of other motivations, natures, and needs to hide lies, lie progressions in their actual natures, fake sides of our nature, fake middle, negative value nature, not our complete nature's complete relationship to itself, forced away, lethal IDs, force-based nature transfer. I'll drop the force. Trinity College has on-off campus police recorded and confessed, facilitated already the crime acts roles. Also, sex crime acts roles, identity theft crime acts roles against each, attaching girls to fake conversations and ties to me. No, because they have fake men associated with the campus, with this ILO family. Recorded, confessed, involved with evidence crime with inter-branch police, involved with child sex offenders, medical crime cliques, abuses of recorded and confessed roles with rapes, and then with uses of that, and those now women for sexual abuses of the youngest girls. for the same ones who pretending that that it's not right, someone should raise their voice to mention this. That's tied to how they invest people. Like if you work at some place and there's laws about someone tells you something in confidence, there's laws that you're not supposed to speak about that. See, those are being exploited per their roles with identity thefts with two Mendez brothers that I was never in the location of outside of school. He pulled up next to a car. I was never in a conversation with him. That was tied to a food bag and tied to a place in Rocky Hill, leasings of stores in Rocky Hill. Confessed and recorded, involved with men and women, with the Justice Department, involved with the abuses of kids from interstate through crime methods missed but recorded. So that's why we have to get this Dillon family with a restraining order against them, and we have to have disciplined the military. I even spot the weight of the people of my town to show you they're coward punks, like any of them involved. Per them, per whoever's whatever they're saying in the background too, because they since I was a kid, they've been using the Britain Superior Court attaching me and other kids to fake ties to other people that they don't even know. The youngest kids, just tying them to fake them and their family members to fake relationships to a complete stranger. This Joshua Julian spreading lies about criminal enterprises with kids Facebook pages, blocking me from the Facebook page when they're doing that with overt child sex offenders. With Weathersfield Police recorded confessed further criminally involved with that with Local 230. That's also with Webb School on Wells Road and with other locations on Wells Road and with businesses next to it. You see, we're going to go into other houses and businesses and locations with things I know because we have interbranch forging and switching names and acting when they walk by me, making little faces like they know me, like we ever spoke, because they invested themselves to database crime rules. They're also raised that way. Christine Bedard Turdette, associated with various natures of fake news crime acts, physical delusions recorded in the media that were used to force a principal sex offender with more before that, and still crime acts and cases before that, and still we have sick natures originally instilled into branch, and that maintained to the defense of itself is maintained, leading to high life progressions as as appreciation for offensive evidence reception crimes, identity theft crime roles, tricks through kids missed. We're we're going to treat American history as an organized crime method that bonded a whole bunch of other crime methods. Originally, still, I'm not lawyer, not police, form, not criminal, and with the Burroughs book, the New York Game. This Eric Jensen, he threatened me, challenged me to a fight. He's recorded and confessed with the Dearborn Street, also criminally involved intercity police families with that as trade center attack context. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Not Charlie the Conscious, another co-defendant, a former director of the FBI. After it was proven in another part of a case slash S, but from the Trade Center Ninth Circuit, his co-defendants were first associated with that, and with others with a Scalora family also recorded and confessed with crimes, identity thefts, with police forms on and off campuses on Franklin Avenue and on Park Street with the clique criminally involved, well, a bunch of people in sexual circles with police forms criminally involved with like with Daryl Sullivan. Daryl Sullivan, with identity thefts, and with his wife, and with roommates of hers, also facilitated the Tide Crime Act rules. And these are interstate Washington Trade Center crime clicks, victim predators, sensibilities, natures associated also with a pattern of so there is no place to get a response because there's forging and switching names, and they won't and criminal interbranch review and vetting of online information, using that to pretend to direct influence people to pretend illusions like them that were pretending they had conversations with me about the CIA, which I would have to be in their location. These are people I didn't have classes with growing up that were pretending to have fake conversations. These are cliques with fake YouTube pages pretending to be me, fake Facebook pages pretending to be me, pretending to be my family member, my father through time, pretending to be, they're pretending to be me in the act of a passion crime with it with the name of account that says Ronnie Mansour's new lover. She recorded and confessed being sexually harassed by police, threatening her not to report it, and then saying other. But I mean, they don't understand how to counter for sustained all these confessions. Even the extended family member of the CCSU police, private, involved with the off-campus police criminally, and these are intercity. East Hartford Police with the crime acts at CCSU, and with it with the Magnanos, also with family members, criminal uses of each of the departments of their sensibility natures as criminal insidiousness nature per their roles with predicate acts like wire crimes, mail crimes. I believe wire crimes are also sequence shifts, rules crimes, other natures of crimes like extortion, um, identity thefts, sequence shifts, passion crimes with illusions tied to those sequence shifts. See, we have crime methods with offensive evidence perception crimes because they did it already too many in cases in the past. They tie people to fake ties to others in databases and with evidence tricks, crime methods. In and outside of courts, just using their databases, using those tied to them. East Hartford has a number of ways criminally involved with child offenders associated with the other Hartford schools criminally involved too. Kinsella School further involved with sex crimes associated with male and female police and fire associated with the sisters of and with the Joe Ayala and his family with a confessed and recorded crimes with um, the Morrow family associated with crimes with they confessed and recorded crimes with a Klotz family with others associated with and with the Kerrs and their brothers with share policing, and then they have a cousin named Joe DeMorrow. So in other words, I can't go to the police station because they just pretend things. They did this with Chris Walters, who gave me they affected him to my president. They wanted him to and then like shortly after they wanted him to they tried to get him to say all these fake things. Then he gave me an affidavit saying that, but it was more complicated than that because it was all they're already in the Britain Superior Court with a Judge Smith, and there's a Smith family associated with the Cove in Old Weathersfield, criminally involved, and people associated with them that with overt criminal enterprises with the DeMorrow family, with the Kerr family. And these are people now criminally involved with the witness protection program and with FBI and with military families and police forms recorded and confessed involved with them criminally. They also recorded and confessed with many others and with the Fianzas crimes with police in Rocky Hill and with WFSB, a Fox CT crime acts. And they also confessed and recorded that the building where Russian lady is involved with them with that. And these are collects with crimes, illusions, no, with overt criminal enterprises, not just the Italian witness protection program and crimes with that overt criminal enterprise too, not just the police forms with the stewardships, all of it criminally involved with the overt criminal enterprises with inter-branch crime acts and cases, criminal foreign influence roles with the trade center investigations because they had crime acts with the context facilitated for their needs facilitated for it. Look, you think science spoke for Hartford, Connecticut? You think science spoke for what was forced to unfold as New York City? You think science told our history? Criminal seriousness nature told our history. This was left states and areas criminally foreign influenced. You think freedom of religion was defended, was recorded, not defended. See, they don't want to hurry up, so they're going to lose money from healthcare too, because Hartford's going to punish you guys. Other cities are going to punish you guys. New Britain, just degenerates, because we have psychology, criminally foreign influence, delusions raw, originally and still. Associated Inter-branch police with who are doctors, they're nuts out of their minds. With with the quality of fact, treatment nature, with identities of the law. And that's why they need identity rackets. That's why they need to pretend offensively that they believe they should talk about sexual things because they need to hide what was already started and kept each age of fact treatment nature intercampuses in relationship to their needs to hide lie progressions, also per Sandy Hook and other natures of prisons, houses next to the state prison offices, houses next to the state judicial branch offices, also involved with this Fianza family. Complete strangers harassing me, stole my identity, refusing to stop and or but I recorded it is recorded it. I mean, in the background, stop. They're in the background with even worse crimes. These are election crime rolls. They also recorded confessed election crime rolls with Wethersfield elections, and parties. See, they have the parties. They put these people to group, not just groupthink, not just mission creep. George Washington had to leave overt slavery entrenched in Wethersfield, Hartford, even with the French general's help to counter extort. And so now let's do it. Free speech. Get the fake news crime acts that stole my identity done, and let's go. Also, Mulcahy sisters. I've never had a conversation with in my life. Um, John Mayano, who's also recorded and confessed involved with the fake news crime acts of, again, juxtaposed natures of crime. And that brings in more natures of criminals. So they're stacking names, and they're also recorded consciously, criminally, pretending that I'm holding on to names from the past. Because if they didn't do that, if they went to the past, it shows that Christine Bedard was put in a class with me after my regular class had already graduated, tied to whatever they were doing. I had been associated with Hang Dog Lane and Two Rod Highway, whatever they were doing with that street with with the 4 years of class. The first year or two, I had nothing to do with anyone, so I never got to know anyone from my class. And then these were cliques that were abused by interbranch predators, intercampuses with this. These are also the family members of interbranch police criminally involved, and with criminal uses of depositions missed, and with simple but still missed, and how criminal uses of lawyers originally instilled per what bonds all these crime method roles originally still per an organized crime method that was against our founders. You don't have to be a lawyer. You need correlations and simultaneously inherent active and progressive means, as means even beyond that. Also, criminal uses of religious spots for the election crime acts, natures of not relating mandated law. Someone asked to report sex crime acts in that location I asked to. They wouldn't let me. Then I asked at the town offices, they wouldn't let me, and the woman there wouldn't let her either tell on it. They were recorded consciously, criminally, pretending to be about needing to have complaints taken in the police officer. Now, it would make sense, but now if they're already knowing they're consciously interbranch rape threats online already, sexual abuses of our kids already recorded, but they're not letting it reported. And they know that because they're the ones associated with it. That's online recorded. Then the sequence shifts and how they force the principal sex offender is recorded, but it's also recorded and confessed how more were involved. So then it brings up how the courts are used to attach me to fake conversations, how they use confessions to me and my family, and then they wrote other about their roles with various natures of predicate acts, fake officer, fake arresting officer, sexual harassment of CCSU of kids, identity thefts of students because they're not corrupt enough to pretend other with various natures of sick employments in criminal justice schools, sick like Middlesex, criminally involved, Yukon, criminally involved, all kinds of drug crimes, sick natures with police per psychology. Then they mess up every science. How much money they owe, what they're recorded, confessed doing to people every day, interbranch, private, juxtaposed, foreign, sick. Then they need to pretend they believe in prejudice and racism because they're offensive evidence reception predators. Pakistani shared policing rolls with the corner of Town Line Drive. Also confessed and recorded tied to Joseph Lieberman. The crimes with Sammy Vega, with the criminal justice cliques, military cliques, criminally involved. Also Kuwaiti, sexual circles with prison cliques, golf courses, complete strangers, pretending they know me. Tied to that because they do it sequentially because they're keeping each spot. Sustained all roles are hurt. Or or indifferent, and everyone's tactically pseudo educated because they need to keep each age of fact cheap in nature, fake sides of correlation nature, fake middles valued, sequence shifts valued, and how they do it is per what's really motivating uses of and furtherance of and facilitation of the overt criminal enterprises because they need the investigation to stay manifest because these are offensive evidence reception crimes to hide live and crime methods bonded to hide live progressions and to hide actually recorded natures interbranch. Those are insidious, criminal insidious natures that need to pretend they love the Declaration of Independence while they're trick punks with the current Constitution. So if everyone not know how to talk, trying to speak, trying to respect people's rights, they're not that are self-defeating. When someone needs to report things, they have coward punks. That's a crime act. That's a crime method. Pretending they have the integrity and already aren't recorded. They're already recorded, men and women, crime acts intercity with the kids, connected, using parks criminally, using fake news crime acts, spreading lies and rumors against people. WFSB recorded and confessed. Stop and Shop further tied people involve crimes with you that you per you or fix it. Otherwise, it's a crime act. It will proceed like that. We just need the names of the judges now. Been asking every day. I tried over the wire. They won't do it. Mail crime. They did mail crime acts. Fake conversation me, forging names into branch, switching names, forging names into branch, switching sequences into branch. Switching names, though, no, too, because that's recorded proofs that they're consciously stealing my identity and preventing me a means for free speech. The recorded lying about the substance of people's speech. The recorded sex crime acts and sexual abuses and tortures of each age of women, each age of men. The recorded with crimes with Dean Alford, forging and switching names roles with people associated with Joshua Stryker. I never had a conversation with. I walked by him once. They said I would. Anyways, I don't know. That was with the. I mean, the other time I didn't walk by him, but I saw him from across a room. It was timed with a girl who made confessions about criminal enterprise. One of the times when I was directed to go to a different location and walk into a cafeteria where they have even that measured out to be exploited because they're lying to whole groups the same way you could lie to an individual, and they're lying to the whole mass because the groups talk to each other. This is not just groupthink and mission creep. This is what George Washington had to leave slavery entrenched. Hundreds of nations shared. You can't talk about that. Manifest, sick sanctions, or sick war. Fake care both ways. To praise. Campus Demarcies needs the name returned. Not one has learned. So when someone says mandated law, let's talk about the sex crime acts. See, we have women judges have to say from the background whatever they say, but they're out of their mind. You see what I'm saying? They're originally still with interbranch doctors and medical families recorded. Degenerates with my area that I never had a conversation with. They're forging names, switching names, crime acts roles with drug clicks that are federal criminals that were co-defendants of former director of the FBI. They recorded crime acts roles with police forms, interbranch, military, foreign, and domestic, leading up to a 2006 case, leading up to the Trade Center attack context, Ninth Circuit proven after from inside the Trade Center attack context, sequence shift shown to the judges just before the attack. Panel of judges, Ninth Circuit, Manhattan. Same One's criminally involved further with that area, like a Scalora family. Those are the identity theft clicks. All natures of a whole bunch of natures of crime acts clicks, like with the IO family, the Demorrow family, the Kerr family. These are people with New Britain Superior Court recorded and confessed involved crime acts with them through time, even online. Then they can't admit reality. They're using online policing and using the sensibilities of the options A, B, C of the online platforms to force the wrong outcomes, to prevent counters, to prevent free speech by forcing it to be a quality of convictions they can't defend themselves and us at the same time, of sequence shifts, of physical delusions, of identity thefts. How many YouTube pages are they going to make against me? I have to deal with the child sex crime acts first, and other natures of crime acts, like the predicate acts, like male crimes, identity theft. See, these are people that are caught in my area with the military, foreign and domestic, criminally involved, private, criminally involved with psychology, other natures of drug crimes, inter-branch, inter-city, with on-off campuses, policing of stores, spots, and stuff like that. Even the drug stores. Let's go. Well, don't make it worse, because let's all rehearse. You move and say sorry to Weathersfield parents, and let's go with Stop and Shop too. Do we have to get let's get this Mike Levine too. Let's go. Let's get these coward cops from the guns out of their hands. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Are you sure you want Dennis? We'll see you later.